Basically, we only talk about Black history in February, and obviously, Black history has a lot more to it, and there's a lot more to talk about. What it's one of the things that you guys have uncovered in the what is one of the things that you guys have uncovered in the past that you think more people should know about related to Black history?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man,
This
somebody
is good.
mentioned it.
This is good.
I saw a post this morning.
This is good. So, one thing that I like, something that we could talk about. Obviously, there's racism still prevalent, in our society.
Racism in Canada.
Racism in Canada. You know,
It's funny how some people think that that's
that doesn't exist.
yeah that's a question. Is there racism in Canada?
It's racism in Canada.
Racism everywhere.
Well, even funnier is most of our history regarding Black history in North America starts in America, right? Even though we have, Nova Scotia that has its own history, and Northern Ontario or Southern Ontario that has its origins
Yeah.
of the ending of the railroad and whatnot. But something that came up was the Statue of Liberty,
Okay.
which
Okay. I heard something about the Statue of Liberty. I don't know the story exactly, but I heard a couple of things about that before. I know it was supposed to be a gift to America or to New York from where'd it come from?
from France.
From France.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things that I thought about when I thought about the Statue of Liberty is, one, I've never been there, and two, my only reference really is watching the movie Hitch.
Yeah.
Remember when he takes her on that
Yeah.
thing with the water ski, and they go to Ellis Island.
Ellis Island. Yeah.
Right? Which I didn't know was a real island.
Me neither, because it's New York.
It's New York, so I didn't know. And they start talking about her family heritage,
Right.
and all the people that pass through there, all these immigrants that pass
Right.
through there.
And that's where you have to come through.
That's where you have to come through.
Right.
Right. Especially
Which is cool when you think
cool,
about it.
right? I never understood our importance of what the Statue of Liberty really means. Because
What does it really mean?
the Statue of Liberty was commissioned in 1865,
Okay.
which is definitely the time when slavery was abolished.
Yeah.
A gift from
Was it?
France,
1865. Yeah, it was the same year, I think.
right? A gift from France, and it has the original one in France has it's a black
It's
woman.
a black woman.
Right.
That's what I heard. I heard it was a black woman.
Black woman. She's got the torch, and she has chains in her hands, broken chains that were in her hands, right? So when it was commissioned to be made over in America, this black historian, her name is Judy Joy, I think it is.
Mhm.
She was like, "Hey, what's going on here? Because the chains are not there in her hands. It's supposed to be the breaking of slavery."
Wait a second. So they made that as a gift. So it was to represent America coming out of slavery,
Correct.
because France had already been passed that way.
Correct.
And they're like, okay, finally, you guys are on board. So this is a little gift to congratulate you guys coming up.
Pretty much. This is what it seems like to me.
So they didn't ship it over in pieces or something, or
Not sure about how it was either made or brought over. But what I do know,
America changed it to a white
America
woman.
changed it to, it doesn't look like a white woman, but the
Mhm.
chains were not in her hand. So you have this torch that's
Torch.
supposed to be light, leading you to the newest, I guess, life of, social acceptance and liberty. But
Oh man.
funny enough, I never even understood what liberty really meant. It's like liberty means freedom.
Freedom, yeah.
So she's really the statue of freedom.
Yes.
And they couldn't find this. So this historian, she couldn't find the chains. So she went to the place. She said she had a cousin that worked there and everything. And they took her around and they're looking for everything. And she's like, I know there's a document that came over. So you know what? Maybe it was shipped over. She said there's a document that came over with what everything represents, right? And how it was made and blah, blah, blah. And she said they found the document in the basement behind some wall, facing a wall that nobody's gonna visit.
With some black people.
Yo,
Some bunch of black people they had out here hidden away in the basement.
they had them hidden the whole time, man.
Oh,
All right.
gosh.
So she said she found this document, and the document shows that the chains were actually there, but they hid the chains at the feet.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
So if you look at the Statue of Liberty, the chains are there,
they're there.
but they're at her feet.
They're at her feet, but you would never recognize it because the Statue of Liberty is actually on a pedestal.
Okay.
So when you're there looking at the actual statue, you don't see this because it's already a high up thing.
Yeah.
It's already placed up high. So you're now not seeing chains. So you just think, oh yeah, this is the Statue of Liberty. She's just freedom, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You're just thinking, oh, this torch.
Yeah. Every image of it, you're seeing her head and you're seeing the hand. You're
Yes.
seeing the upper torso.
Correct.
Yeah. No one's focusing on the bottom.
So the chains was supposed to represent exactly what it's supposed to represent. The abolition of slavery, which is supposed to represent that black people, which is the why this whole thing is done, are free. So everybody that passes through Ellis Island is there because of black history, not because your great uncle from Italy or whatever. And I'm not saying Italy doesn't have black people, but I'm saying it is what it is. People are always making it sound like that was this hangout spot for everybody but black people.
Yeah.
But black people paved the way for that to even happen.
Yeah.
And that was what was crazy. When I figured that out, I was like, what? And I was so nervous because it makes me wonder what else is being kind of hidden in plain sight.
Everything, every bloody thing. Everything. Like I find out, I see videos. Okay, this morning, randomly, I wish I could remember the name. I wish I could pull it up. I should have sent it to you so you could see it. The first drone. The first drone was invented by a black guy.
What?
In Los Angeles.
Oh my goodness.
In 1981.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they had a picture of the dude holding the drone. You see him like it looked like he's coming out of the 70s. 1981, I can't remember his name, and they called him his nickname was Tech Man because he just liked to fiddle and invent stuff. And born and raised in Los Angeles, I wish I could remember his name so I could say it now. But he invented the first drone. There's a picture of him with this drone. It was a big one, about this size. And he was always fascinated with aviation and making this fly. He invented this drone and he brought it around to different fairs and everything. And everyone was like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's wicked. Like, get out of here. And, that's pretty much it. Like,
that's cool. Get out of here.
Yeah, like, it looks amazing. It's great, but we got to figure out how to get that away from him, type of thing. He was never allowed to get a patent for some reason.
Look at this.
And the tech industry, I don't know if it is now, but it was dominated by white men at that time, and they basically stole his work.
Oh,
yeah, stole his invention, stole his work, and then years later, came out with what they said was a drone. But I got to find his name again.
This is frustrating because these are the things that allow us to actually believe that we're valuable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When we associate ourselves.
Which is why people put so much energy into covering it up and hiding it. Because
You're right.
When I say they, you know what I'm talking about. Like
the powers that be, yeah.
Powers that be,
yeah.
They know that you can't, if you want to keep a group down, you can't empower them with self-worth and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. You have to hide that from them, right? You have to make sure they don't feel special, or else they'll be able to achieve what they're supposed to achieve.
You know what? You're right.
So, shoot. So talking about that, then, is Black History Month important?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know about Black History Month until grade 9 because everywhere I was black.
Right.
My school was black.
Yes. So explain. That makes perfect sense. Because up until grade 9, you weren't in the public school system.
I wasn't. and we Black history we did that all the time. Like we
Right.
always understood Black history from September.
Right.
Like it wasn't even like it was part of the curriculum. That it was just life.
Right.
Like even to have a side note, when we were talking about Canadian history, there was always Black history involved. So we didn't grow up thinking less than. And it's funny when I remember trying to get into Cedarbrae,
Mhm.
and I had great marks. I told you this, right?
Mhm.
I had great marks trying to go to Cedarbrae at grade 8, from grade 8 to grade 9. And I remember, I'm not going to say his name, but he looked at my marks, he's like, hey, oh man, oh, this is good, man. Where's this school? I said, it's over there at the Brimley and Lawrence area. He's like, oh, never heard of it. So it shows here you got a lot of A's. You must be really bright students. I said, yeah, I guess. And he's looking at me like, bro, these things are all lies. Like he's looking at me. And the
Oh yeah, it's fake. To him,
it was fake.
he
Yeah.
thought it was fake. Yeah.
Bro.
Number one, he never heard of the school. Number two,
Exactly.
you're black.
With all
He's thinking about the rest of black kids that have come his
thank
way
you.
that go to Cedarbrae.
Thank you.
A bunch of dumbass.
He's thinking like that.
Shout out to Cedarbrae.
Big, you know what I mean? So then when I had to go to what was now technically my homeschool, when I realized Cedarbrae was still my homeschool because 400 is split in two.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Weird.
Like 400. Yeah, what is it? It's like half of 400 is Cedarbrae and the other half is Midland?
Midland, right? So I go to Midland now, and grade 9.
So the building was for Midland or the building was for Cedarbrae?
Building was from Midland.
Okay.
And I go to this school, and I'm like, this is too easy.
So when you went to Cedarbrae, did they tell you can't go there because it's not your home school?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Right? Now, I get to Midland now, and they have a Black History Month. And I'm like, what is this? And that's when we seen Donald. Donald comes in, and he's talking about, he starts singing. I'm like, I know this guy all day, man. This is my older brother. Like, what's the celebration there? What's going on? This is Black history right here? I'm laughing. But the rest of the kids don't get that. They don't have access to positive, enriched views of something that is supposed to be celebrated on a daily basis.
So to you, it didn't make sense because the stuff that they talked about for that month, you heard about prior to that all year round.
All the time.
But kids that aren't black, or kids that aren't kids that are black,
Yeah.
that aren't in an environment that is uplifting and positive,
Yes.
and black focused,
Yeah.
they're not going to hear about a lot of that stuff.
Correct.
A lot of just because someone's black, people doesn't mean you know about black history.
That's what I found out.
Because their parents don't know. If it's not in the household, then they're really
exactly what it
they're not going to know. So
Yeah.
So then, it sounds like you're saying it is important, but it's not important.
It's important in the sense that, from my point of view, where it's like it should be talked about every day. It's
Right.
I matter every day. You matter every day. I'm
Right.
not just a sub note to
Right.
somebody else's achievements, which is exactly what they used to do back in the day when someone made an invention. If they happened to be white, the assistant happened to be black.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the assistant's doing all the work
Doing all the work.
and doing all that.
Real. You know what? It's like
crazy.
it's like a hygienist and a dentist.
Yep.
It's like a nurse, is a nurse and a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same bloody thing.
Same thing.
The person right below them is actually doing all the work.
Yeah.
And they're just, the top dog is signing off on this stuff. I always thought, how come, what's the big deal about being a dentist? I'm lying here for an hour. The hygienist is doing all the work, working on me.
Yeah.
And the dentist comes in and like, oh, yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Pay me.
Hey, me. Well, I mean,
I always thought,
yeah.
like, he ain't doing nothing.
it's funny, but I mean, back in the dentist, they did the work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's now they figured out obviously how to offload the mundane task,
Yeah.
and then just check to make sure it's proper, right?
Man, it's difficult. I think black history is foolishness, to be honest, because of how it made me feel.
Okay.
So being a kid, I was always in public school. And when black history came around, I never felt like proud or yeah, this is my time.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like, why are we talking about this now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we only talking about it now? I always felt like that. And then it actually made me feel less than, because when you highlight something for a short period of time, it makes you feel like it's not really important.
Thank you.
We're just like touching on it because someone made us do it.
Yep.
So it actually made me feel almost embarrassed.
That's
You know?
how I feel.
Yeah, I really felt like kind of embarrassed. So in a country like Canada, that where we pride ourselves on being multicultural and welcoming to all cultures and all this kind of stuff, the history should be spread out that way. I mean, we should learn about the Japanese Americans. I'm sorry, the Japanese Canadians in British Columbia. What happened to them? We should learn about the black people that came up and migrated from during slavery and after coming up into Southern Ontario and Nova Scotia and these places. We should learn about all the different ethnic groups and how they contributed to Canada over the past 200 years.
Yep.
And that should be evenly spread out. We should not just be learning about Jacques de Champlain and the same old dry dudes. Like
dry dusties.
Yeah, it makes you feel like that. That is our history.
Thank you.
That's how you feel growing up. And then Black History Month, they touch on that. And then you got like the Asian month, Chinese history. I don't know which month it is.
Well, I think it's January.
Is it January?
I think it's January.
They got their month. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's whack. I think you should get rid of all those months and have people educated properly. The teachers I'm talking about.
Yep.
And you need proper books that show real history and it's accurate. But it's tough because I brought up teachers because the ones that are teaching us, they don't know the history. They don't know.
Yeah.
God forbid there's a kid in that class, and I've heard many stories of kids trying to tell teachers, well, no, it didn't go down like that.
Yeah.
Don't you know this is actually, okay, go to the principal's office.
Gone. Trouble.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
A teacher's not going to be like, wow, Jimmy, why don't you go to the front of the class? Because you're actually teaching me something. Come up to the front of the class and tell the kids. No, you're going to get in trouble because you're smart. I've seen that time and time again. So
Because you're smart.
I don't know what the solution is, but I do know how to start. And how to start is that teachers need to be educated on the real history of Canada. And if you want to uplift its citizens that are from hundreds of countries, then you have to implement all of their history evenly throughout the year and not just focus on, Black history for 1 month, Asian history for 1 month, and then the other 8 months you're talking about European Anglo, history and how they basically made the country.
Which is crazy because especially for what is the beginning of Canada, right? So Canada's 150 years old,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
So based on that, I mean, there's so much that started at the beginning that we could easily just attribute to a couple. And you definitely focus on that. There's a trickle-down effect, obviously, as it gets more modern.
Yeah.
But definitely talk about the essentials.
So do we celebrate Black history in the shop? Customers have always asked.
Well, for me, I won't lie. I Black history everything, bro. I say everything is about race. Everything. Because it is. I don't want to make it seem like it's an ugly point, but it's the truth. When we talk about the systems that allow us access to finances.
Yeah.
There's race. When we talk about, it's even crazy when you say in the chair. I had someone get in the chair one time and say, do you guys cut normal hair?
Yeah.
Normal hair.
And what and who was this person? What did they look like?
They weren't normal. I'm like, what do you mean normal?
Yeah.
I go, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I looked at it, I said, bro, we cut everybody. And he looked at me like, yeah, but do you cut my type of hair?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so you're normal.
Yeah.
And it got really uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
But I said, let me educate you so the way you're not not sitting here with this ignorance when you leave the shop. Because if you do that, I'm doing you an injustice.
Yeah.
So I let him know. I said, Black people are the dopest barbers on the planet, bro. I go, we've been cutting the presidents, all these presidents. I know they don't look good in their pictures for what we think, but we were the guys cutting their hair. We were the ones cutting. We were the ones. Anything that required prep, we did that.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that's in a book that looks like it's prepped, we did that. So when you talk about normal, I go, maybe where you're from, you're used to seeing something that looks like only your type of people did that. But if we talk about the history of things and everything that's put on display, the prep work is usually done by the people that you're saying are not normal.
It's unfortunate. I feel sorry for people like that. I've had people in my church say that too. Normal, regular. They don't know any better. Because if they did, they wouldn't have the audacity to sit in your chair and say it to your face if they knew better. Because that means they'd be coming in looking for trouble.
True.
They say it because they say it out of ignorance.
Yeah.
Right? And it really shows you. It shows you how everybody in the world looks at us.
Yeah.
And what we do. They look at it as not being the norm. Our hair isn't the norm. Our look isn't the norm. Just who we are as a people aren't the norm. It's crazy. And that's people that aren't black. A lot of them, they don't even realize that that's their thought process. It's something that's been ingrained in them. In North America, for sure.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the rest of the world because I haven't traveled a lot.
Right.
But that's the thought process over here. And people that aren't black, Caucasian people with straight hair, whatever, they've always thought that their hair is the standard. And that's straight racism. That's straight racism. And it's in our books. If you look at the hairstyling, this is something, people, Sean Gibson, Ontario Barbers of Association, have been fighting for years. In the hairstyling book, you go to hairstyling school for 10 months to learn how to be a hairstylist or a barber.
Mm-hmm.
But the section that talks about our hair, afro hair, super curly hair, it's so small.
It's amazing.
Out of the 10 months, they cover it for like 2 weeks. So
like Black History.
Like Black History Month. So the message that you're putting out there to people that are getting that education, the message you're putting out there is that we're going to teach you all this stuff, and this is what's important, but you got to know about this a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not important because the section is so small.
Yeah.
And that's what Black History Month is.
Yeah.
It's not important. So it's 1 month.
Yeah.
The shortest
month too.
Because we want you to know about it. We got to tell you, but it's not really that important. So, I think Black History Month should be spread out throughout the year, just like everything else. And we're a black-focused business. So when people have asked me, I've always said, for us in here, Black history is every day. Mm-hmm. Every time you come in here, you're going to get a little bit of Black history.
Preach.
Because you're in our midst.
Church.
Right? So we don't need to put posters up or whatever. I think we have said like Happy Black History, maybe in posts.
Yeah, maybe.
And honestly, it's just to make people happy. It's not really something that I think should be celebrated for a month.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be spread out.
It needs to be a daily conversation.
Daily. Yeah. And racism in Canada is real. Just let people know. People out there that think that it's not, for some wild reason, anywhere on this planet where there's different races. Sorry, I got a speech impediment. Anywhere on this planet where there's different races, there's going to be racism.
There will be.
She sells seashells down by the seashore. Yeah, anywhere. For people to ask that question, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think what people really want to know is the outrageous things that they see other countries doing. Mm-hmm. Do we see that here?
Yes.
Like lynchings, like, corrupt cops.
Yeah.
Shooting. Because, I mean, that's what's getting put on.
Publicized,
right?
Yeah.
So
and we see mostly American stuff.
Correct.
And you see inner city American stuff, which is like, I don't know, 5 major cities in the States?
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
How is that a global pandemic?
Yeah.
Like, how is that? But the thing is, it's because it's put on front page and because people are tuned into that and they see that first, they use that big paintbrush and they paint everybody.
I'll tell you what.
It sucks.
Racism is a funny thing. Racism's not going to change. It's always going to be there. But the way we react to it, the way we handle ourselves and deal with it can change.
Yes.
Right? And what I've noticed, I don't know if I, have the right answers for all this kind of stuff. But what I noticed in general, if you don't focus on something, then you're not giving it any power. And I think the way in which you're going to interact with the issue or that subject will be in your favor if you're not focusing on it. So I'm not going to say pretend like racism doesn't exist, but we have to recognize that we have the power within us to rise above anything that's coming at us, right? So when I was a younger man, I dealt with issues differently when people said things to me, when things were done to me. And over time, I learned to react differently, which made the situation result differently, right? I'll give you some context.
Yes.
So what I tell people is, if you're a young black male, right? I can speak on this because that's what I was. That's what I am.
You're young.
If you're out there and you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s and you're out late at night, 3:00 in the morning, you have to understand that you're in a demographic that the police, for example, are afraid of. They're not going to target you because they think you're up to something. They're targeting you because they're afraid of you.
Ooh.
That's where it really comes from, right? So when I was in that demographic and I would be out late at night, I would wonder, why am I getting stopped randomly by police, right? Yeah, that happens here.
Yo,
why am I getting pulled over?
Yo, tell them the story, man.
So I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, tell them the story.
I thought to myself, why are these things happening to me? I didn't realize till I was older.
Yeah.
When they stopped happening to me, I thought to myself, I look older. So I look like I'm out of that demographic of being wild and young, whatever they think.
Yeah.
I'm not on the street 3:00 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, like I used to be.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, what's the saying? Nothing good happens after 11 o'clock or
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. If you're out on the street 1, 2, 3 o'clock, right? And you're approached by an officer or you're getting mishandled inappropriately, why are you outside at that time? There's no real reason to be outside at that time. You're probably just hanging out with your friends. And that's something you could do inside. So I used to start thinking, you know what, a lot of these things that happen to me, they're happening because they're prejudging me, but also I could have done things differently to not be in that situation.
Right.
Because at my age, you're never going to catch me outside. That's why I don't have negative interactions with police anymore because I don't look young. They're probably not afraid of me as much. They don't think I'm going to be erratic. And I'm not out at those hours where they're taking advantage of people, in the middle of the night. So I was at a friend's house. This is back in the 90s. So I'm at a friend's house, and they were walking distance from where I lived. All right, it was on Trudell.
Yeah.
And I'm just walking back. So it's like less than a 10-minute walk. I don't know, right? And I'm coming down Eglinton. I didn't walk down the street for whatever reason. I think I always had it in me. I just wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
So it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I just wanted to be on the main street.
Right.
So I said, let me just walk out Eglinton, and I'll come down. I saw a squad car in the parking lot what used to be Elaine Plaza.
Oh, shoot. That's all townhouses right now.
Yeah, it's all townhouses. And they were sitting in the parking lot probably doing nothing. Like at that time, they didn't do nothing. Listening to the radios. But I saw the high beams go on.
While you were walking?
While I was walking. So that's when I knew something's up. They put the high beams on. So I'm like, damn, they probably see me. So I'm walking. Squad car comes up. Comes out of the squad car. I stop. And it's like cold. I think it's like January, February. It's cold.
Oh, shoot.
Officer says, hey, what's going on? Where are you going? I said, I'm just going home. Well, where are you coming from? Friend's house. I didn't say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you, I didn't, whatever. I was just asking questions. I'm not up to anything anyway. Where are you coming from? Friend's house. Oh. So where are you going again? I'm just walking home. Where do you live? Just right over there. You know, you want to see my ID? Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, so it's pretty cold outside. You just what are you doing out this time? I was at a friend's house. I just fell asleep, and I'm just walking home. Live right there.
Jeez.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right, no problem. He takes off. I'm like, wow, that was easy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sweating anymore.
Yeah.
So I start walking, and I think I had to.
I'm sweating right now, but
I think I cut up because I was trying to. I think I went to the bank machine. I think I went to the bank machine to go home first.
yeah.
So I'm walking along Eglinton. I was going to like CIBC at Brimley. So I'm at the other end of the parking lot. I'm still in the same parking lot. It's a big parking lot. The same guy comes and stops me again. He says, "Hey, what you doing?" And I said, I just saw you like 30 seconds ago. I'm asking the questions here.
Oh, see,
I go, okay.
I knew I was sweating.
I'm
I
like,
knew I was sweating for a
so
reason.
right then and there, I go, okay, it's one of those. I said, my name's Kirk. I'm just walking home. Where you live? Live right over there. Where you coming from? My friend's house. Right back there. Oh, it's pretty late. Fell asleep at my friend's house. Now I'm just walking home. Where you live? Right over there.
Oh, I'm sweating, man.
And he goes, hey, listen, man, we had a robbery in the area. You fit the description.
Oh, my gosh.
What's the description? Young, black male, wearing a black hoodie. And
Anything you're wearing.
everything I'm wearing. Everything probably 65, 70% of the kids in the area are wearing.
You're going to jail, bro.
So he said his spiel, covered himself. This is before body camera and all that. So I'm already nervous because I was always taught to make sure you're somewhere where people can see you. You got interaction with police, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the main street, which is good, but it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Not much cars are driving by. So he says, okay. This time he asked for my ID. I showed him. He said, all right. Yeah, I can see you live over there. Okay, well, hurry up and get home. Sure, no problem. So I cut to Eglinton. I started walking. And now I'm at the corner of Eglinton and Brimley, Danforth, that kind of drive section.
Yeah.
There's like a Shoppers Drug Mart there now, right? I think this is just when they built it. It might have just went up. And I'm crossing there. 2 squad cars pull up. The same guy, the same police,
bro. The sweat,
and another police officer.
Oh, I'm sweating.
He called his buddy. So they pull up and they stop in front of me, like this, like in a V.
They sandwiched you.
Right. And I'm like, it's beat down time.
Oh.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
is this before Rodney King?
This is right after Rodney King.
Oh, he getting beat down.
Rodney King is 97? 93? When was Rodney King?
Rodney King?
It was early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s.
He's early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s.
93
for sure.
maybe.
Yeah, like 92, 93.
Yeah. Because I think I was like in grade 10.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is after.
Oh, you get beat down.
So they stopped, and I stayed there. And it's cold, eh? It's cold. Same guy comes out, right? He comes out to he approaches me. The next officer gets out of his car, and he's laughing.
You're done.
And he folds his arms and he leans up on his squad car.
Oh man!
Almost like he's gonna watch the show.
A show, yeah.
I already know what it is, and I could tell what they've been talking about on the radio. So he's like this. He's laughing. The guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, what you doing out here?" More aggressive, right? I said, "I'm just coming from my friend." Same thing, coming from my friend's house. Where's your friend live? Back there. I'm asking you the questions.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm getting irritated because I'm cold.
Yeah.
And he asked the same question, blah, blah, blah. ID, where do you live? Blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. After all that, he looks back at his friend. He pats me on the shoulder. And he says, all right, buddy. You're a good sport, right? He goes, you're a good sport. You can go home. We're just messing with you.
A good sport.
I know so many people. I have so many friends that would have had a bad night that night because
bad night, bad life.
Because they can't control the temper.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to assess the situation. They would have been They would have been loudly, talking about their rights. And sometimes you just have to know not just what's right, but when to be right.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
There's a time and place.
You're right.
So I tell that story just to let kids know that just because you're being ill treated, because people are prejudging you, whatever it is, you can't control that,
Right.
but you can control what you do.
Yeah.
You can control how you react to it. You can control what you say. You can control whether you're going to go home or not. And it sucks because, people my age, younger, even a bit older, that were born and raised here, in Canada, or you're born and raised in North America. You have just a way of thinking because it's been inbred in you.
Yeah.
Right? You feel like something's over your head, kind of holding you down, and you have to break through something. Where I've seen and talked to Black people that were born in Africa, born in the West Indies, they don't feel that. They think differently.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to tell another quick story. I would never move into a neighborhood that had no Black people because I would feel uncomfortable. I would never do that because I would feel uncomfortable. I'd want to see maybe some of my own people, some multicultural. I would be thinking, do they like me? I'd be worrying about things that don't bloody matter. My dad moved to this country, and when he was purchasing, not his first house, when he was purchasing a home that my mother's in right now, they told him that there was a rule. They said, sorry, sir, I know you want this house, but, they have like a committee and they're not allowing any Black people to buy on this street.
Look at this.
Yeah. This is
Look
the
at
70s
this.
in Scarborough. They're not allowing any Black people to buy on this street. And when they told him that, he said, what do you mean? Well, that means the people living on the street, they have like a pact. Like, okay, if you sell, you can't sell to a Black person because they don't want Black people to move. They're afraid of more Black people moving in.
That's almost like redlining, but not
pretty much. There's a word for it. I can't remember, but it was very common.
Yeah.
So hearing that story, I'm thinking, screw these people. I don't want to live there because I don't know. They might try to damage my house.
Right.
It's not going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what my dad said? He goes, oh, yeah? They don't want. Okay, no. I'm moving there. Sir, but I know the house is $50,000, but you have to, I don't know. I'll pay more.
Yeah.
He paid an extra $5,000 back then, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
To live there. He said, they don't like me. They're going to look at my face every day.
See this? You see this?
That's the difference in the mentality, right? When you're brought up here, you just don't think like that.
Yeah.
Right? But to him, he's like, what's wrong with these people? Like, Black is it. I'm from a country that's Black. I remember him telling me, like, it's the doctor was Black, the lawyer is Black, everyone's Black. That's what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
So when people come here and try to treat you away, you kind of feel like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. You're crazy.
Yeah.
You're not normal.
Yeah, you're not normal.
That's
So,
the problem, man.
It's something that we have to fight against, we have to change our way of thinking. We have to have Black History Month spread out throughout the year so people that are younger than us coming up see their value and they recognize that they're not less than.
You know what? This explains a lot. This explains a lot about the way that you move.
Think so?
Yeah. Because you move very fearlessly and it sounds crazy. It's almost arrogantly respectful. You know what I mean? Like you're moving.
Over time, I feel
Yeah.
I purposely tried to train myself to be like that.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's the way we're supposed to be. It's just that we're tricked into thinking less than that, right? It's hard for me to explain. But I've actively tried to. It's not something that I'm not just born like that.
Yeah.
Like I really try to put myself in situations where other Black people might feel less than. And I try to fight through those feelings, those negative feelings, because I know that they were put on me. They're not real.
It's not
You know what I mean?
real.
They're
man.
not real.
What's crazy is I was telling my kids about a story where I got pulled over, my license was suspended, and these guys were trying to make it seem like it was a bigger ordeal. And they're trying to tell me they're going to put me in handcuffs. And I was like, you don't have I'm not wearing any handcuffs. Now that wasn't because I knew my rights. That was because I knew what I used to see for hip hop that was in like the late '80s, early '90s. It was very pro-black, right? And I always remember hearing like Sister Soldier and all these people talking about, don't let them put you in handcuffs. And I remember I was telling my kids a story about not wanting to be put in handcuffs, and I'm telling them this. I'm like, listen, don't you ever let anybody. You don't even play cops or robbers.
No.
Forget all that nonsense.
No.
You don't need to be playing with guns. Nothing. Forget all of it. So then they go to daycare one day, and the neighborhood police come, and they're trying to,
I remember you told this is a good story.
Right. They're telling us, come in and say, hey, this is neighborhood police Bob or whatever, and he's here to show you guys that the police are not against you. Not against you.
Yeah, they're your friends.
That's what they're really doing, right? We're your friends, and you need to talk, and we need to, when crimes happen, you need to speak up and all this kind of stuff. And they let the kids go in the squad car, and and then at one point they're like, does anybody want to put in handcuffs?
Yeah.
And all the kids said no. And then the teachers, like the caregivers, were like, "Oh no, man, come on, you guys gotta try to get put in handcuffs."
Yeah.
And the kids are like, "Oh no." And then some kids, don't want to make the teachers feel bad, so they're like, "Okay, I'll go." So they're going, and my kids are out the back like, "We don't want to go." And this daycare giver, forced them, said, "You guys have to go and put the handcuffs on." So they put the handcuffs on. Now, I didn't know any of this. I'm sitting at a dinner table, and they're telling me casually
this is crazy
about putting on handcuffs.
Yeah.
Bro, when I'm listening to this, I'm like, wait a minute. Did you guys put on the handcuffs? And they go, yeah, they made us put on the handcuffs. Bro, I almost lost.
Oh, my God. Of course.
I almost lost the door. Everything that was trying to contain my emotions. Bro, I was like, what are you guys talking about? Fly open the gate with emotions. I then go down there the next day, and I asked them, I said, what happened? What happened? What happened here?
Yeah.
Oh, we thought it was okay for the kids, to try on the handcuffs. I said, did you try on the handcuffs?
Yeah.
They said, oh, no, it's not for us. I said, why don't you put on the handcuffs and feel it's like to have somebody in a position of power and you're incapable of doing something because you're not there. You don't have any rights anymore.
Your reasoning to put handcuffs on a kid makes no well. Actually, I know the reasoning, but it's crazy that they try to mask it to say like it's something good. That has nothing to do with getting familiar with community constable Bob, and he's a nice guy. What they're doing is they're prepping.
Crazy. Thank you.
What they're doing is
prepping you to look like the other images that you see on the radio, on the TV, that shows someone in handcuffs that looks just like you, and you'd be like, oh, that's familiar. Okay, it can happen. It's okay. I'm like, no way. The handcuffs are not for us. This is not for us. And I kept telling my kids after that, I said, I'm sorry that you guys had to go through this. I go, unfortunately, the caregivers at this daycare have zero empathy. First of all, they didn't apologize because they felt like they were sorry. They apologized because they didn't want to lose their jobs.
That's right.
And I said, you know what? Unfortunately, you guys do not.
They should have lost their jobs.
They should have lost their jobs.
They should have.
You guys don't have the foresight to even understand that the community that you guys are actually taking care of is misrepresented and misunderstood most of the time when it comes to dealing with the police. So you guys don't need to be talking to the kids. You need to be talking to the people that hold the handcuffs.
Yeah.
So that way they can see the kids in a different light. But you guys treated them the wrong way. And because of that, I have to take my kids out of here. Because I can't trust your next steps with any one of my kids' futures. And I go, I really hope that all the kids that look just like mine are gone. And that would have left like 4 kids.
Let me tell you something. I guarantee you, Constable Bob, Jimmy, whatever the hell his name was, I guarantee you he did not go to any daycare or school at Young and Eglinton.
Thank you.
They only do those things in certain areas.
Thank you.
Right? And they do it purposely. When I was living at Kennedy Eglinton, at the No Frills right in that plaza, there's something that they did in the summertime, every summer. And when I talked to other people in different areas, they said they didn't even know what I was talking about. I'm like, this doesn't happen in your neighborhood? You know what it was?
Oh yes.
They set up a little stand in front of the grocery store, the police, and they talk to the kids, they talk to the parents. Hey, you know what? This is, we want the kids to be familiar with the police and we're your friend, blah blah blah. And what we're doing, this is for your safety, in case your child gets kidnapped.
Oh my goodness.
Or is lost. What we do is we take their fingerprints now. We take their fingerprints. So if your child is lost, it's easier for us to find your child because we have a database. And these poor immigrant mothers and fathers are like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lineup. A lineup of people with their 5, 6, 7-year-old, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids getting fingerprinted. So the police have them in their database.
Look at
And I said, you friggin' sneaky bastards.
Look at
They don't do that in neighborhoods all over Toronto.
No.
They're doing that. And if you ever see this, don't ever let your child get fingerprinted. Because what they want is, they want to have your child in the database. So when something goes wrong, then come knock on your door and say that, well, you know what? I think Bobby, his fingerprint was found at the grocery store that was robbed. Not because he buys the chocolate bars there.
Exactly.
But we found his fingerprint was there, and he's in the database. So we have the right to now bring him in and question him when he's like 17.
Look at this.
Years old. So there's a lot of scary little tactics that they do, and that's all. That's rooted in racism, man.
Is that racism in Canada?
It is. That's racism in Canada. That's bloody racism in Canada,
bro.
And it starts with fear. And I'm gonna give you one analogy that I say all the time that makes everyone understand if you do not understand at this point. Okay. Picture this, right? If a gorilla ran through this door right now, whatever room you're in, a gorilla runs in and like this, and he looks at you, what are you going to feel? What are you going to want for that gorilla? Are you going to say, hey, calm down. Why don't we catch this gorilla and get him out of here? You're going to want that gorilla dead because you're afraid and you want to be safe. You're going to wish someone had a gun so they could just shoot this gorilla quickly.
One time.
You're not going to ask the gorilla if he's hungry. You're not going to ask him what he wanted. You're not going to ask him why the door was open. How did he get in here? You're just thinking, kill this thing.
Yeah, but what if the gorilla is wearing Louis V's?
So think about that feeling you would have.
Yeah.
If a gorilla runs in, that's how they feel.
Yeah.
That's how non-black people feel when they see us. And that's where it comes from. And that's it. So just recognize that. That's how they feel when they see you enter a room.
And where does all this start?
Oh, Lord, that's another podcast, how it started.
Because it's scary, man. Just to even, why do I have to be all of a sudden, oh, you know what, Lowell's good for a nice, for a black guy. For a black guy. Mm-hmm. Why, Kirk, you know what? Kirk cuts hair very well for a black guy. Who's setting these standards that says that what we do is, like I said, it's a side note.
It's a combination of everything.
It's really scary.
It's a combination of what you're taught in public school. It's a combination of what we see on TV. It's a combination of just everything. It's all around. It's all around us. Everything you read, the literature. So we have to talk about it now.
Yeah.
All the time, not just in February, to help kids to not be brainwashed as much. Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
You know what? That's why in the chair, I'm being honest with you, what we say matters, what we do matters. I'm glad that when we talk to our co-workers and we let them know, not to be spreading gossip, but figure out the truth, because our representation is what someone's going to leave. It's our lasting memory. And it's funny, Lincoln Alexander, he said this to, at McMaster, everyone's graduating.
Yeah.
And he says, shaking the hands of everybody across the stage. But when it comes to the black graduates, he says, you know what, congratulations to everybody else. But when it comes to the black graduates, he says, we're counting on you. We're literally counting on you.
Yeah.
Everybody matters. It's not just the one person that's, making awards and, inventing something. Everybody, everything matters.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for everyone to start understanding how much importance Black is. Not just Black history, but being Black is. You're dope. You're amazingly made. You have something that everybody else wants, which is your swag, your style, your DNA, the height, the hair, everything. They want, everybody wants everything. And I'm not saying that to disregard any other ethnicities and saying that they don't have anything, but it's very prevalent that what we present to the social scope is very, very necessary.
Yeah.
Because it's wanted in everywhere.
Yeah, we drive the trends.
We drive
Sure.
So I'm not ashamed anymore, man. I gotta make sure that my kid, not anymore, but I'm not ashamed, and I'm scared for the generation that is, and they think, oh yeah, without knowing their history, they're really just.
I'm afraid for them out there.
Yeah.
But I'm glad when they come in here.
Yeah.
Because it's Black history every day.
Every day.